What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about what it's like buying a gun in Europe. So, I think most people know that here in the United States, it is very, very easy to buy a gun. You can just go down to the gun store, and that same day you can get a gun. But for most other countries, I don't think that's normal. And from what I understand, America is actually very weird for how we do gun ownership and how easy it is to buy a gun here. So today, I really want to learn about what it's like when you want to own a gun in a European country and how that works and how that compares to the United States. So let's take a look.
Hello, I would like to buy a Pew Pew.
I'm sorry, you can't.
But why? I have a psychological evaluation. I went through extensive training. I have a medical certificate. I have many referrals from friends, family,
What?
my coworkers, and a clean criminal background.
What? Oh my god. Okay, already I'm seeing there are huge differences between Europe and the United States. So this guy in Europe, he has done everything to try to get a gun. He's done everything that you should do. He got a psychological evaluation. He took like a safety training, medical exam. He said and he has no criminal history, right? And he still can't get a gun? If you can do all of that and you still can't buy a gun, what does it take? When can you buy a gun in Europe? I mean, that's amazing to me. And honestly, it makes me think a lot about how easy it is to buy a gun in America. The one thing you need in America is you need a clean background check. You can't be a criminal and buy a gun. But other than that, you don't have to take a safety class. You don't have to get your psychological brain checked. You don't have to pass an examination, which is pretty scary when you think about it. Like, I definitely think, especially after seeing this, it's too easy to just show up and buy a gun in America. You should at least have to, like, prove that you are worthy of the responsibility of owning a gun. That's a huge responsibility. That that requires a ton of trust and confidence that you know how to properly use it, all the safety, that you are sound of mind, that you're not crazy, and in America there's just none of that. You don't have to prove any of that. You can just show up, and as long as you have money, you can get it. And that's really scary. Especially after seeing this and how much effort you can put in Europe, and you still can't even get a gun. So how can you get a gun in Europe if this isn't enough?
There's no indication that you and your family are in immediate danger, therefore you cannot get a pew pew.
Oh wow, is that what it is? You need to prove that you are in danger. What about if you want to go hunting? Is there like an exception if you want to hunt? And what if you want a gun for self-defense? Do you have to prove that you are actually in danger? You can't just own a gun for self-defense if there's literally no danger going on. That's a big difference. Because here in America, you do not have to demonstrate anything. You don't have to give any reason for buying the gun. That is the big difference, I think.
What if I wanted to hunt?
If you are a professional hunter, you do have a chance to obtain a formal hunting license.
Okay.
It does require you to take written and practical exams about wildlife management, weapon safety, and laws.
Wow. Wow. Like I'm American, so I'm pretty open minded about guns and stuff, and I know how it works here in America, but even I say it's too easy, especially after seeing, in America, you should have to pass a test. You should have to take safety exams. You should have to pass a medical exam. There should be, why not? Why not? Why? That isn't even asking that much. That's not even asking that much. To own a gun? That's like the least that you should do. So I think it's very weird because America, we could still keep very, very loose gun ownership laws. And the least we could do is you need to pass a test, or you need to prove that you know what you're doing and that you're competent. That seems so reasonable to me. So I really like what I'm hearing so far for Europe. It makes a lot of sense to me.
You also have to show proof that you have a safe or a locker at home and it meets law standards.
Oh, wow. I think in most US states, there's no law about how you have to store your gun. You can just keep your gun on your kitchen table if you want. And obviously, in a lot of American states, you can keep your gun in your car. You can even get permits to carry it around with you, wherever you go. That is totally normal.
And it does take several months in order to do that.
It's not worth it. I'll just get into racing cars or collecting butterflies. I like to get a pew-pew.
Okay, so this is what it's like buying a gun in America. Okay.
No problem. America has it all. Hand pew-pews, shot pew-pews, assault pew-pews, hunting pew-pews, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I'll take one of each.
Yeah, sure, no problem. How old are you?
I just turned 18.
Oh, 18? Great.
Right, I forgot about that. That's the other thing. You need no criminal history, and you need to be 18. If you have that, you're good to go in America.
You can't drink alcohol yet. Well, you shouldn't be pew-pewing and drinking. So what are we getting today?
Oh my God. That's a good point, actually. In America, you need to be 21 to drink alcohol. You only need to be 18 to own a gun. How messed up is that?
Aren't you gonna check my background?
Nah, we don't need any of that bureaucratic crap. We keep the government out of our business. We have to protect our Second Amendment.
Okay. Now, the Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution is the entire reason why it is so easy to buy and own guns in the United States. That guarantees the right to bear arms, the right to own guns, and originally, the reason for it in America was self-defense, and also so that normal, regular people, like common people, would have guns in case they had to fight against a tyrannical government. Like if the US government ever became tyrannical or evil and tried to control the people or do stuff we don't like. The thought is that the American people would all be armed with guns. So it's really that from what I understand was the historical reasoning for it set down by the American founding fathers. And obviously as time has gone on, things have changed. Guns have changed. Back when they made these laws in America to own guns, you were loading a gun with a stick, with like paper and a stick, and it took you like 5 minutes to shoot one bullet. That's what they thought a gun was. Now we still have the same laws, but guns are mass murdering machines. You can shoot 500 rounds a minute with an assault rifle. Like have changed so much, and the laws in America around guns have stayed the same. So that's a big issue for sure.
Why, are you a violent individual?
No, not at all.
Oh, the background, I think for most US states, you do have to pass a background check, but it's very, very quick. It's very quick and easy. You can go in and you can usually purchase a gun the same day you go in.
I thought so. You look like a good kid. And I can tell when the kids are overburdened by mitochondrial challenges. I can tell by their face and body movements. Wait, but you're not crazy or anything like that, right?
Who isn't crazy these days? The whole world is crazy. The government is crazy. Everybody's crazy.
Oh my God. I know this is like a parody. This is supposed to be funny, but it's actually pretty scary. Like, why don't we have tests to make sure that you're smart, that you understand gun safety, you understand the gun laws, how to use the gun safely? Just make sure the people who own the guns are competent and know about the safety and are responsible. Because as it is right now in America, literally anybody, no matter who you are or what you think or what you know, or you don't have to know anything about guns to buy a gun, which is really strange.
You're so right. And you seem like a very smart kid, too. So what are you going to do with all these pew-pews?
I'm just gonna go hunting.
Oh, that's such a great hobby. Are you going to go hunting with your dad?
No, my parents don't know anything about this.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah. So are you just going to go with your friends then?
No, I don't have any friends. They're all crazy.
Yeah, you're right. It's like you
man.
said, there's so many crazy out there. If there was only a way to stop all these crazy people from doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, here are all your pew-pews and everything else that you need. Thank you for being a good patriot. And above all, thank you for your business. And God bless America.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but basically, like, yeah, it's that simple. And you can, in a lot of cases, you can sell your gun to a friend, or you can gift your gun to your family member, and there's not even like a record of it. Like, it's so weird. But again, as an American, I've grown up with all this, so to me it's like totally normal. But I understand from an outside perspective how incredibly kind of crazy it all must seem. I understand that. So I want to take a look at some stats and explanations on buying a gun in USA versus Europe here. So it says in the United States, buying a gun is easy and fast. Most states allow adults with a clean criminal record to purchase firearms after the background check. You might be able to do it in a couple minutes. In a lot of states, no license, registration, or waiting period. You can have private sales. Totally normal. Yep. In Europe, okay, this is what I want to learn about. In Europe, gun ownership is tightly regulated. It varies by country, of course. It's far more restricted. Okay. In Europe, you have to justify the need. That's an interesting concept. I like that. Whether it's because it sounds like in Europe, it's usually for hunting. Whereas here in America, I think the number one reason for buying a gun is self-defense. It's not for hunting. It is the idea of self-defense. It's the idea of having a gun, if somebody breaks into your home or breaks into your car, or if somebody attacks you on the street, you'll have a gun. That is the idea in America of the justification. In Europe, you have to pass background checks and psychological evaluations. I don't understand why we don't have psychological evaluations. Obviously, we should have psychological evaluations, medical evaluations, safety evaluations. I don't understand that at all. That is something Europe is doing, and it makes so much sense to me. You need firearm safety training. I don't understand why we don't have safety training. You don't need to pass any safety training. After seeing this truly, even as an American, it is insane to me why you don't have to pass tests to get a gun. Like I said, we could even keep most of our laws. Like, everybody could still have access to guns. It would still be like very, very open gun laws. Just at the very least, add the psychological, medical, and safety evaluations. What? You need to register the weapon. In a lot of cases in America, you don't need to register the weapon if it's privately sold to you or gifted to you. Self-defense is rarely accepted as a reason for owning a gun. That's amazing to me, because in America, that is the number one reason. I mean, it's it's strange because it seems like we are buying guns to defend ourselves from other people with guns. So it's like a self-perpetuating cycle in a way. The process can take weeks or months. Wow! Like I said, in America, you can get a gun the same day. Oh my God. European gun buyers must justify a reason, right? I don't see that happening in America. I don't see that happening. Just because of the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, the right to own a gun, it's written right into our Constitution. You don't need a reason. You just have. It's like the right to be. It's like the right to be alive. It's the same. The right to own a gun. You don't need a reason. It's just a right in America. Mandatory firearms training. I love that. I don't know why we don't do that. Police approval or licensing. You might be interviewed by the police? Wow. I mean, you know what's weird? I think in America, we just don't take guns seriously. That's the problem. We're just used to it. We don't take it seriously. Like, for me, the idea of a police officer coming to your home to interview you, I'm like thinking, wow, that's a lot. But when you think about it, this is a gun. This is a killing machine. It's totally reasonable to have all these rules and regulation. You have to get your gun license reviewed every couple of years. That makes a lot of sense. You got to register the firearm. That makes a lot of sense. You have to store it correctly. I've never really thought about that, but that also makes sense. For a lot of Americans, the idea of owning a gun is to protect your house. So a lot of Americans want to keep the gun very handy, like close, like easily accessible. So a lot of Americans don't even want to lock it up in a safe or anything, even though that would be much safer. You have a limit on how many guns you can own. From what I know, I don't know if there's a limit to how many guns you can own in America. I've never heard of that. And certain types of guns are banned. Wow. Yeah, in contrast, in America, you can buy a gun for self-defense, no justification needed, skip training, avoid licensing, purchase the gun that same day. Yeah. I understood that here our gun laws are weird, and I think a lot of our laws are stupid, and we could really do a lot better. And obviously in America we have so much gun deaths and gun violence, and obviously that is because of our gun laws, obviously. But seeing this and learning about how European countries approach guns, it's really sort of opened my eyes to how strange we are and how we could really we could change. We should implement a lot of these things Europe is doing. It wouldn't even be that hard, and it wouldn't stop people. It would only stop people who are crazy or unwell or incompetent from getting guns, which is sounds good to me. So I don't know. This was really actually very eye-opening. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on buying a gun in Europe versus buying a gun in America. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.